when you listen, do you listen by your phone?
No, on the computer.
Okay. You can find the Quran on your phone?
I don't know.
On YouTube. Do you use YouTube?
Yeah, that's all.
If you use YouTube, I'll show you. I'll just send you it. I'm going to check it now. All I have to do is just...
Which Quran are you using?
Hold on. I'll tell you this now. Surah 59. Surah 59 with English translation. Type in that.
Yes,
Surah 59 with English translation.
Just 1 second. Yes,
yeah, you take your time.
Surah 59.
Right? It's coming up like this.
English.
Watch me.
Yeah, I see it. Surah 59.
Yeah?
English. Just on.
Coming up like a brown paper.
I see.
It's like a brown you don't see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So hold on. So pause it there. Let's make it work and we'll start, right? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So welcome back to our ongoing session of Tafsir. I delved into the Tafsir or Tafsir under the coconut tree. We are doing Surah Hashar. Okay? Surah Hashar, which is Surah 59. Right? Surah 59, verse 1. Right? I just call it exile. You got that, sister?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have it?
Yeah, I had it, yeah. I have it, yeah.
All right. Play.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم.
Stop it there.
Whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth.
Right. Now, in fact, what we are doing, like what I told you just now, actually that's how it's really done. You have a reader and the person doing the tafsir. You know, normally you have a reader and then the tafsir person doing tafsir sit down. And it's still the tradition even today in Africa. I used to realize as it commodity, that's not remember, that's how it's done in the traditional sense. So the student of the tafsir will read and then the teacher will do the tafsir. For that same reason, you're flicking all the different places. Now, this surah is it's called Suratul Hashar. There's one name for it. Okay, and the other name for it is Suratul Nadir. Nadir. Yeah. Suratul Nadir. Because it was named after the Banu al-Nadir. They were a Jewish tribe, a very formidable and strong Jewish tribe at the time of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, a very strong tribe, and this tribe was sent into exile. Right? So I'd like to give you the story behind it first. But before we get the story, let me give you some of the benefits of this surah. Right? There's a lot of benefits that the Prophet Muhammad SAW mentioned, okay, about different surahs in the Quran. Okay, and I'm reading from the Imam Sawi notes on Tafsir Jalalain. As I told you before, that Tafsir Jalalain is one of the famous basic tafsir that all Islamic institutions use, especially in the olden times, and it's still used today. I call it is called, not me alone, but it's called basic and it's called fundamental, because if you go through this as a student, more so if you're doing Islamic fiqh, right, or you're studying, okay, in this tafsir, it gives you, it helps you with the language, because it speaks about the grammar of the Quran. It helps you with the basic hadith. It tells you about everything basic. So from there now, you can go on to the other classical work in Islamic commentaries. But normally they start here, Surah 59, and it is found in the 28 Juz. Now, it is reported that whoever read this surah, okay, there'll be an immense amount of blessings that person can get, okay, from reading this surah. Because the whole of creation, and the Prophet mentioned all different parts of creation, like the Jannah, the Nar, the whole of creation, the angels, the sun, the hills, the moons, the stars, the valleys, the whole of creation, they pray on you and they seek Allah's forgiveness for you. Now, a lot of us find it difficult to understand, for example, if someone say that the mountains is seeking forgiveness for you. Because today we live in a world that is divorced from spirituality. And if I come and tell you that the mountains pray for you, people go say, what kind of craziness is this? A mountain is a solid thing, why you go pray? Right? It's not a literal statement that the mountains will get down and pray like that. Right? But the whole of creation responds to Allah, okay, in ways that we don't know how. Okay, I'll say it again. The whole of creation responds to Allah in a way that we really do not know how. For example, they say anybody who goes out in the search of knowledge. And this is not just Islamic knowledge. People think that when they say knowledge, they just mean Islamic knowledge. Any knowledge that is beneficial to mankind. Any knowledge that is beneficial to the community. Okay? Anything that is beneficial to the community. It supplicates, it communicates to Allah and asks Allah to pray to Allah for you and ask Allah to forgive you. You see, every tree you pass, every animal you pass, sometimes you don't know who you pass. You have ants, you have insects, different type of insects, you have flowers, all these different things. You see, because our viewpoint of the world is not like the other people. We view the world, right, as connected to the creator of the world. So when we say that He will seek forgiveness for you, we're not speaking literal. It's not a literal statement. Okay, so do not take it literal. Okay, it's a spiritual statement in the sense that the creation responds to the Creator. And part of the response of the creation to the Creator is to seek forgiveness for you. In whatever form, in whatever way, we do not know. Okay, we don't know. That's why we say, as Muslims, the whole earth is a Muslim. But people don't understand. How do you all be a Muslim? Right? What we mean is that the whole world submits to Allah. The sun, the moon, and the stars, everything in creation submits to Allah. Everything. The difference between we and them is that we could choose not to. The flowers cannot choose not to. The horse cannot choose not to. The donkey cannot choose not to. The ocean cannot choose not to. But mankind was given the special ability to choose not whether he wants to submit to Allah or you do not want to submit to Allah. And that is only in regards to his will, his willingness to do things or not. But as regard other aspects of it, it is in submission. Our heart is in submission. Our lungs, everything that Allah gave us. Hold on, Anissa. Okay.
No, I'm trying something, sir.
Yeah. So all of our being submits to Allah, right? But our willpower, our will to do or not to do, Allah free us with that. Okay. And and said that they seek refuge. I mean they pray for him and they seek forgiveness for him. And if so happens, let me say that person dies on that day, let me say, the person dies, or he died at the night time. Whether if he dies at the daytime, or that person dies at the night time, he dies as shaheed. You see? So when Christians saying that we just fighting battles, and we saying that when we die in a battle, we die as a shaheed. No, we die in a shaheed if we keep up reciting this surah, right? Because this surah intercedes for us. And that if we die on that day, or in that night, then we die as a shaheed. Our rank at our death will be as that of a shaheed. And all the blessings that occurs to a shaheed will happen to you. And to me, one of the greatest blessings of shaheed is the ability for you now to intercede to Allah for your family. That's one of the greatest blessings of shaheed. Because shaheed is not a selfish act. Because you're giving up your life for the pleasures of Allah. So you're not being selfish. You're making a choice with your life without being put under pressure to do so. Okay? And therefore, there are immense reward for somebody who does that act. And to me, one of the greatest reward in that is that you become able to intercede to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment for your family. Another person that intercedes on the day of judgment for his or her family is a baby that is born and dies. A baby that is born and dies intercedes on behalf of the parents, okay, for that mother and father to enter the Jannah. Okay, so So, 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 we must remember some of these things. Okay, because Islam is not just a religion; it's a whole system of life, how you live. It's a deen, it's a practice. Okay, so we see everything in a different light. Okay, so another benefit that is recorded in the book of Tirmizi from Ibn Yasar, that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever says when he gets up in the morning time, 3 times, he said this 3 times, A'udhu billahi as-sami'ul alim min ash-shaytanir rajim. 3 times. I seek refuge with Allah, the hearing, the all-knowing, from the shaitan, the rejected one. A'udhu billahi as-sami'ul alim. Just remember as-sami'ul alim, 2 attributes. As-sami'ul alim min ash-shaytanir rajim. Normally we just say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, but this one is just put in A'udhu billahi as-sami ul, okay, as-sami ul alim, as-sami ul alim. So you just stick in between A'udhu billah and minash shaitan is as-sami ul alim, the hearer and the knower. Whoever says that 3 times when he gets up in the morning, right? And he reads 3 ayats. Okay, and he reads 3 ayats from the end of the surah. Man, those 3 ayats is one of the most beautiful 3 ayats of the Quran. If you hear it in Arabic, it's a very beautiful verses. These 3 ayats, these last 3 ayats of this surah. And it goes into all the different names of Allah. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allahu la ilaha illa al-malik al-qudus as-salam wal-mu'minun al-muhayminun al-azizul al-jabbar al-mutakabbir. Subhanallah. It's a beautiful. It goes into a lot of the what we call the sifat, or the names and attributes of Allah. And it's a surah that I've learned it as many times as I've forgotten it. It's a nice surah, and I have to go back and freshen it up. And I remember it. Allahu la ilaha illa asami al-malik al-qudus as-salam al-mu'minun al-muhaymin al-azizul jabbarul mutakabbir. Subhanallah, and the part of it is that every soul shall get what it achieved, and so I have to freshen back up on that surah, inshallah. It's a very nice surah to know, so you can mark it to the end of the Quran and learn it in English. And if you get a chance, you use the English book, where they write the Arabic in English form, right? Like Bismillah, Bismillah, R-A-R, like that. You can learn it like that, and then you can play the tape, and you can play tape over and over, where you can help memorize it. Okay? It's a good thing first to memorize it in English, and then try to memorize it in Arabic. So whoever says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan, A'udhu billahi as-sami'ul alim minash shaitanir rajim, and he or she reads the three ayats from the end of Surah Al-Hashr. Right? And all the things that Allah is responsible for, which means the whole of creation, 17,000 angels. Okay, and 70,000 angels will pray for that person until the evening time. So let me say you get up in the morning, you know, for Fajr, and you say it, right? And then the whole of creation and 70 thousand angels pray for you and pray on you until the evening time, until it's Maghrib. And if that person dies on that particular day, he dies a shaheed. And correspondingly also, if he this one is just the date, they mentioned the night, but the other one mentioned the night. Right? Whoever reads Surah Hashar, that the whole of creation, without stopping, we pray for you, pray on you, pray for and on you, and seek Allah's forgiveness for you day and night. This one is just the daytime. The whole surah is the whole day and night. Okay? And whoever, sorry, my mistake, sorry. I didn't finish. And whoever reads it, okay, when it is in the afternoon, let me say after Maghrib you read it, again, then you get the same thing for the night. Sorry. So if you read it at the beginning of the day, it intercedes for you and pray for you until the evening time, which is Maghrib. And then if you repeat it, okay, then it does the same thing. They say kadhalik, it does the same thing for you. Same thing for you until the morning. So it'll be evening till morning, morning till evening. Okay? And it says that it begins with Sabaha lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. Okay? Samawati, Sabaha is like when we say Subhanallah. You know Subhanallah? When we say Subhanallah, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from all imperfections. You know? And the closest word to that in English is glorify. When you glorify something, you remove all impurities and all negativity from that thing. So when we say Subhanallah, okay, we are asking, what we are invocating, or what we are invoking is that we are glorifying Allah, and we are saying that Allah is free from all, okay, things that of weakness, like, we are human beings, right? So we are not free from imperfections. Okay? So if you understand some of the Arabic of the Quran, it helps to humble you. Right? Because only Allah is free from imperfections. No human being. We don't care what level he has attained, is free from imperfections. And this is very, very important. You see? Because when we understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? When we understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it makes the world easier for us to negotiate the world. Why? Because we put everything in place, in its proper place. Okay? And that is called Aqidah. Aqidah means like you take a rope and you tie it. Okay, so you tie your understanding firmly so that you can see the world as it is and what it is for. Okay? So what we are tying here? We are tying the belief, the understanding that Allah is free from imperfections. Anything that is associated with being imperfect, that is not Allah. And this is important because at one point in time, mankind had that belief. And our ancestors went astray. They went astray in Africa. They went astray in India. They went astray in China. They went astray in Europe. Every part of this world, at one point in time, our ancestors went astray. One or two people keep a purity of their belief. Not all of them. And one of the message of the prophets is always to purify that belief. Right? So we have all the prophets preach one message, which is Tawheed, oneness of Allah. And each had a Sharia. Not every prophet had the same Sharia. We must be able to discern these things. All the prophets didn't preach the same Sharia. You know, and this stupid talk here, people talking about they want Muslims want to take over England or America or Trinidad with the Sharia. What do you mean by that? You must ask them what do you mean. What is Sharia? Because they think Islamic law is just punishment. The punishment part of Islamic law is called hudud. What does hudud mean? The barrier. When you cross that barrier, there's punishment. But you cannot implement those punishments if you're not in charge. Right? Punishment is implemented by the authorities, you know, that Allah gave the power to. Because Allah said He gave power to who He wills. Even the kuffar, Allah gave power to. The mushrik, Allah gave power to. Because you can't have no power without Allah. The mushrik government cannot have no power except from Allah. So then you say, well, why Allah gave the power? You know, Bob Marley say, Jah will never give the power to a bald-headed man. You know, it's nonsense, right? Because Allah gives power to who He wants. That's what the Quranic verses. It's who? Whoever Allah wants to give power to. Trump cannot rule without Allah saying go ahead. It don't mean Allah approve of it. You see, there's a difference between somebody giving you the power and approving of your actions. And a good example I can use is like children. You train your children in a particular way. And then when they go out there, they do what they want. Correct? It's the same way. Allah train us in a particular way, and then we go out there and do what we want. But nowadays, people blaming some of these actions on the parents. Right? Now, on that human level, maybe or maybe not. I'm just using the positive aspect of it. You can train your child, but they can't go out there and do what they want. So Allah gave us the power. He nourished us. He gave us that person might be richer than me and you who praying to Allah. And he ain't praying to nothing. He did no kind of evil. But Allah allowed that for His reasons alone. When you reach there, you can ask Him. Right? But from our level, right, Allah gives power to who He will. So, but there will be what? There will be question as to how they, what they did with that power. And you will be questioned also, how did he respond to that power? Because for you to trust in Allah, it means that there must be a hurdle. There must be something preventing you that causes you to trust in Allah. So if there's no hurdles in life, right? Then plenty of our belief it make no sense. If you don't have no oppressor, then fighting against oppression is meaningless because there's no oppressor, right? But because Allah loves oppression, then He gave us the remedy how to check the oppression. Okay? Because Allah is not a nurse. Allah didn't come to nurse us here. You know, some people in Christianity want Allah to be a nurse. Other people, some Muslims too, because they ain't changed their mindset. You know, they say, for example, well, you know, how come God let the tsunami kill all them children? Tsunami only kill children, it kill fish, it kill children, it kill man, it kill dog, it kill all kind of different things. Right? Why is that? Because sometimes people live in certain zones. Okay, there are certain zones in the world that people shouldn't really live. Or if they live there, they should take precautions because on that zone, there's a lot of tidal waves because of the movement of the earth. Okay? And they go and live on that area. And then when the tsunami comes now and wash them away, they blame God. But you know that area is not a strong area that things can happen because of the natural development of the earth in that place. For example, San Francisco. San Francisco is considered the gay capital of America, right? The gay capital. I mean, that's what they call themselves up to today. It's not banging on them. That's just what they say. But do you know that they build a whole city on a fault line? Right? You can have an earthquake anytime. It's a disastrous earthquake in the past. And people still went and build there. Okay? And they didn't even build with technology that could make them survive an earthquake. Right? So if you know that you're going to live in an area that could have subjected to natural disasters, then you have to plan your housing and plan how you live there. You can't go and throw up a birdhouse and then when you take come, you know, the first rumble, your house gone. You gone and your house gone. Okay, so Allah gave us dominion over the earth, and we have to be wise about it. Secondly, the second thing that causes all this problem is people intervention in the earth. What I mean by that? In a lot of those areas in the Pacific, right, the European powers like France, America, England, and these places, they go to those places, especially France, and test bombs, nuclear bombs. Okay, they go to these areas and test what? Nuclear bombs. And what that caused? That caused problems with the surface of the earth. Because remember, it's a bomb. Okay, and the earth has different fault lines. What they say? Remember, the earth, the crust of the earth moves. Sometimes it go over each other. Sometimes it go under each other. Okay, it moves around. Okay, and that when it moves around, that's how islands are formed and land are formed because the land comes up or the land go down. Like in Jamaica, you know, I don't know some of you all who did Western history. You know, they talk about this place in Jamaica that was swallowed by Allah. You know, it's still below the sea, and some parts of Turkey is like that too. Now, so if you go those kind of places and testing bombs all the time, and you're affecting the natural change in the surface of the earth, you see that will cause disasters. Okay, so it's people intervention, people drinking alcohol, taking cocaine, smoking, and then when the baby comes out defective, oh God, what kind of baby God gave me? You want to exercise your willpower, but you're not willing to face the results. They say do not drink and smoke and do all these things when you are pregnant. People do it. Do not take certain type of tablets. Do not take, And people do it. And when the baby comes out defective, they blame God. God is not yet a nurse of a nonsense. Okay? So we say, all that is in the heavens. All, and I use the word what? Ma. Ma means what? Okay? Whatever. All that is in the heavens. Okay? Sabaha lillahi ma. All. Ma fis samawati. What all that is in the heavens. Wa ma fil ard. I like how they say, ma fis samawati wal ard. No, he said, all in the heavens and all in the earth. We want to be sure nothing is left out. Glorify Allah. They make tasbih. Okay? The whole earth. Everything, all in the earth and all in the heavens make tasbih. You like we make tasbih, subhanallah, alhamdulillah. All that make tasbih to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All. And that's why it's good to learn. You know, when you move up in your studies, you try to acquire the language of Arabic so you can understand the Quran, because it gives you a different understanding. When you read the Quran in Arabic and you read the Quran in English, it's because of translation you miss certain things. Okay? Now, ma, the word ma, whatever, or what, is used for irrational beings, like a rock, like stone, like fish. Cow is not rational. You will see a cow saying no and doing a mathematical problem. They have instincts. Right? They do things to the point without being taught. Okay? That's called instinct. And ma is used for irrational beings. So is this saying that, you know, I can bring an argument and say, well, is the earth part of ma fis samawati or ma fil ard? Is the earth part of what is in the heavens and the earth? Right? Yes. Look at it, it's the earth. Our planet. But we are rational beings. We are what? Rational beings. Okay? So which means we can think. So what Allah is saying here is that all, including us, right, glorify Allah. But with us now, we have a choice, eh? But the others don't have a choice. That is the difference. If Allah is say, man, who, if Allah is say, who in the, all those who are in the heavens and the earth, glorify Allah, we're talking about us as human beings or other type of creation in other part of the universe that we don't know about. But here Allah talking about everything that we can call created, that exists on the planet where we know and we do not know. In this planet, other planets, other universe, we don't know. All those things worship Allah. Including those creations that he has made there. Now, we are rational, but he includes us in the sense that we also do it. But we have a subcategory that we are rational beings and that we can choose to do it, or we can choose not to do it. Okay? Now, this surah if I move on, so what this is also saying, another subtle part of this, what I'm saying too, is that in creation, there are more irrational beings than rational beings. Right? Just the cockroach population is more than the human population. We used to go to the other insects and fishes in the bottom of the ocean. The cockroach or the ants population, which is irrational, okay, are more than human beings. So there's a preponderance, that's the word for it. There's a preponderance of irrational beings in creation than rational beings. Okay? So, a lion will not face judgment for being a lion. A snake will not face judgment. You know, Allah punish the snake for biting you. Okay? Allah put certain instincts in the snake that you should be aware of. You're walking in the bush, you're making noise. Firstly, you ain't living there. You're passing through there, you're making noise. Snake sleeping. You anger the snake come out and bite you. Go call the snake bite me. You come in the snake place, disturb the snake, cutting down the bush, chasing wherever, frightening the other snake, the little small snakes, and the mother bite you. Or the father bite you. Or they chase you or something like that. Okay? He's been a snake. Yes, you know, to rationalize and say, well, you know, the man make a mistake, maybe no I here, and you know, like somebody come and knock on your door, and then start to shake the lock, and then they say, I wonder if the thief or somebody forgot the key, or if the person wants to know I'm home, you know, you rationalize. The snake ain't no time for that. Get a bite. If it will bite you. Okay? So that Allah is mighty and wise. Two attributes. Right? He's what? Azizul Hakim. Azizul Hakim. Now, the problem with people in power, right? The problem with people in power is a lot of time they have no wisdom. Especially if they don't have no checks and balances on that power. You see it in creation. Somebody come and beg for your vote, and as they get in power, they forget you. Okay? They forget your needs. They forget even themselves and what they were supposed to do. Until that power goes away and they say, oh, Shims, let me give my next chance, I'm going to do it better. You know, because it's a responsibility. And Allah is Aziz. Allah is the most powerful. That the word Aziz means. But Allah, in his wisdom and his power, he's also Hakim. What does the word Hakim mean? The word Hakim means wise. Somebody with wisdom. But the basic meaning of Hakim means somebody who knows where to put things in their right places. A Hakim is somebody who knows when to put things in the right places. Which words to use at the right occasion. That's being wise. Taking the best action for a certain situation. When you do that, you're considered a wise man or a wise woman. To say the correct thing when the situation arises. They call you wise. Either a wise man or a wise woman. So Allah has power. He's Aziz. He does what he wants, right? But he's also one who knows how to exercise that power. See? He knows how to what? Exercise that power. So when we look at the attributes of Allah, it's not just a way to describe Allah. No. It's also a way to understand Allah. Yes, it is to describe Allah. But when I say no, I mean that is not all. It is a way also to understand Allah. Everybody knows what power is. But everybody ain't wise. There are real stupid people in this world. We know that. And the worst thing is when a stupid person gets in power. They do stupid things and they can endanger the whole of creation. They can endanger the whole of creation because of their nafs. You know, they feel in power, they could do whatever they want. No checks and balances. Hurt people. You know, only see by themselves. But our Rabb, our Lord is not like that. Our Lord Allah is not like that. And we glorify him. Okay, because why Allah used glorification at the beginning, because the purpose of creation is to worship Allah. Eh? Don't get that twisted. The purpose of Allah, not to come here and drink rum and run down woman and do all kind of crazy things. Purpose of earth, purpose of our existence is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the reason we were created for. And when you go to school or you go to university, and then you go and you study anthropology. And in anthropology, they tell you now that because mankind was so afraid of thunder and lightning and storms and hurricanes and earthquakes, that he created God. You know? He created somebody we could run to when these things happen because he couldn't understand these things. See? That's what they say. In Islamic anthropology, what do we say? How do we counter that? How do we respond to that? Oh, he's a kafir. No, that wouldn't work. Because we have children, eh? We have young people, we have new Muslims. And if they are not taught properly and understand Islam properly, they will leave. Especially in this world we live today, you know, with the internet. I've never seen so much as just open lies about Islam, wrong history. And let's imagine somebody who don't study. Tell you now, one time they leave Islam. Even less. Right? So in Islamic anthropology, now what is our outlook? What they call it epistemology. What is our outlook on life? Right? What's our outlook on this life? Our outlook on this life is that we are naturally beings who worship. Hassan, what is your evidence? What is your evidence? Okay, my evidence is this. The strong man in the clan, the beautiful woman, the rich one, right? In some cultures, they worship these people. They worship the king, they worship the ruler. Some people worship woman beauty. They call them a goddess. Some people worship wealth. They worship the person who holds wealth. Okay, that's the man could be the most ugly man in the tribe. But if he's wealthy, he getting the best woman in the tribe. But if he had no money, you know time with he. Okay? And that is natural. It's not something against the woman. You know, but Allah created woman with a certain nature that she goes to she's attracted to the person who can provide the best for her. Okay? Now some women are so outside of nature and they go on so far that they forget that. Right? You see some women with some men and the man do them all kind of thing, they're taking care of them and they love that man too, but they don't leave him at all. And when they do leave him and they meet a good brother, well, he had to pay. But that stupid man she had married before. Anyway, we'll come to that. So let's look at the anthropology. So we see that the nature of man is to worship. Right? You worship the stars, you worship the sun, you worship the moon. You know, you have God of thunder, God of earthquake, God of beauty, God of wealth, you know, God of children, God of mothers, God of the widows. And he compartmentalized the attributes of Allah and made them gods. That's the evidence. So the anthropologists will say, no, because of fear. Because of fear. What is wrong with fear? Okay, because of the fear of death, you take medicine. Correct? So fear is not something negative. Fear is something is a caution. Right? If you fear something that will damage your existence, you take precaution against it. I'm not talking about being scared of a ghost or something like that. I'm just talking about fear in its generally. It's not totally a negative quality. Okay? You can fear things will happen to you, so you take precautions. You put on a steel hat when you go on the construction because you fear something will fall on your head and damage your brains. When you go in the garden, you go with certain boots so that the picker or other things or snake can't bite you through that rubber. So you say, yeah, fear, we're going, okay, run through the bush barefoot. Because even the people who used to run through the bush barefoot, they used to tie leaves or leather on the lower part of their feet so that they will not get sting. But the technology developed and they made shoes and boots and all these different things. So this is our evidence. And this is one of the things I was thinking this week is that the Muslim leadership and scholarship have a challenge in the sense that they have to be able to answer all the things that people put out there to take you away from Islam. Because we have to remember, we're just going along, with Muslim, happy go lucky. But there are people out there who are paid. They are paid money. Paisa. They are paid money. To do what? To take you off the path of Allah. That's the job. First they say Muhammad Sallallahu didn't exist. I follow this Christian side. First they say Muhammad Sallallahu didn't exist. Because a lot of the scholars say this, saying Jesus didn't exist. Right? So they say, Muhammad didn't exist. Then they say he steal from Christianity. Then they say he's a sect of Christianity. He invented a sect of Christianity that went astray. Then they say he's an Ethiopian priest. Now they say he's a Christian. You understand? So every year they're coming up with something. And what is deep in these things, right, is that some of these foolishness have been answered. So even though we answer them, they still come back with the argument as if nobody answered them. So that's one thing. The second thing is, Muslims now who like to talk, I want to go out there every minute. Right? You want to run out there and challenge them and things. They're giving these people oxygen. Because wherever you say to them, they will not be giving you any help. Right? And you should only go out there to correct the audience, people who are listening to them. This should be your purpose. You correct the audience and then you leave. You put out you correct their information and you talk to the audience and you leave. Leave it up to them to believe or not to believe. Okay, and we have to face that challenge because it is a challenge, yeah. I've seen all kind of things negative about Islam. They use every statement, every action, anything to denigrate Islam. And we're just happily going along as if nothing happening, People working to destroy you, destroy your existence. Right? Why? Because Islam is the only challenge to them, to this world. Islam is the only challenge. Despite all of our weakness, we have plenty of weakness, right? We have plenty of problems. But despite all of that, the only thing that could challenge this system is Al-Islam. So they don't even want a weak Islam. They want no Islam. Allah say what? In the Quran, what? They will never, look, listen to that word. They will never, ever, never. They will never put an N on ever and then remove the N. Ever be pleased with you. With you. Until you follow their way of life. Okay? So they don't even be a Christian. All right? They have to follow their way of life. They have a way of life. Islam is not the only way of life. Allah said he made Islam the dominant way of life over all the other way of life, the other ways of life. But he said he choose Islam to be our way of life, and he will make our way of life dominant over the other ways of life. Because in the other ways of life, they they make slaves of humans. Right? In capitalism, they don't care. They work it till they're dead, put in a little old house. Put in a house and they stay there until they're dead. Give bad medication, remove medication from you. So it comes like a wheel, you know. We born, we grow. When we born, they train us to be part of their system, to be workers, to be part of their system. And we grow up and we're doing all of that until we get old when we can't do no more. Give us a little pension, and after time, it's the grave. And thousands and millions of people have lived that life before us, and thousands of millions of people will live a life after us. And this is it. So you must fix your head as a Muslim to know what we are up against. Okay? So being a Muslim is just not, you know, Allah said, do you think you believe and you will not be tested? You know, come on. With loss of life, loss of property, you know, Allah will test you. You can't be a Muslim and you want no test. Okay? When you make tea, just taste it to see if it's all right, if it have enough sugar, or if it's not too hot. In everything in life we test it. We buy new shoes, we put it on to see if it fit good, eh? We go into the store, we buy a new dress or a pants, we put it on in the changing room just to see how it fit. Look in the glass, see, okay, oh, it fit there, boy. You know? So, part of existence is facing tests. Okay? So it's the same thing in the spiritual part of life, is that we will be tested. Another part of the spiritual life is that when people talk good about you, Allah also tests that what they are saying. Right? Allah said in the Quran that He tests the reported metal of the believers. What people say, the reported metal means like what kind of person that is, what kind of metal, METTLE, not METAL, metal, in what you are made of, the substance, the things you are made of. So when people praise you, you know, that good brother, that good sister, Allah puts it to test. Right? That's report coming in from the angels. Okay, I'll test that brother. I will test that sister. And when you pass, He raises you by degrees. If you fail, you have to go back and start again and bring yourself back up. Okay? There's no despair. If you do something wrong, you repent. Make tawbah. Tawbah means to turn around. If you're driving and you go in the wrong direction, you don't keep driving. You're going in the wrong direction. If you keep driving, I mean, you end up going wrong. You get lost eventually. You turn the car around, turn the bike around. You turn around to see you find the correct direction. Okay? So, some surahs, there's a lot to say about them, and some surahs, we can't, I pick and choose the surahs, because if we do every surahs only one way, we'll never finish. Right? So, we want to finish and start over. And also, you want to pass on as much information as possible. So, in some surahs, you may have more background information, and some surahs you may have less. It don't mean that Surah Mujadila, that we start for do have some of these background information with more. Okay, but I just pick and choose as we go along what is relevant to us. Right? So Mujadila might not be so relevant to us right now. Next 3 months it might be. We don't know. Quran is an ever refreshing spring. Okay? Better than Sprite. Okay? Better than Sprite. So inshallah we'll stop here. And next week we'll continue. Okay? Next week we'll continue Surah Hashr. Any questions?
Maulana,
Yeah.
earlier you're saying that newborn babies, babies who are they are innocent, right? And they can pray for you. Does that mean if a child is born to let's say a convert, right? To a convert, someone who was Christian before, and the child born dies, right? The parent becomes Muslim. Would that child be reunited with the parent in Jannah?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, because that personal to me.
Because a child, remember a child,
Person.
every child is born, every children, let me see. But when I say Muslim, I'm not talking about Sharia. There's two types of Muslim. There's Sharia Muslim, meaning that we are Muslims generally, but we are Muslims specifically in that we follow the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? We pray 5 times a day. We fast in the month of Ramadan. We pay 2.5% in zakah over wealth. We save over which a year has passed, and we didn't touch it. We make Hajj if we are able to. Okay? That's our Sharia. The Sharia that went before, they paid 3 times a day. Right? They used to fast, but they had no in the morning, no suhoor in the morning, no food in the morning before they fast. Right? And they had they make pilgrimage to Jerusalem. They did not pay zakat like how we pay zakat. They pay more money on agricultural produce, which we still do. Right? But in Islam, you also pay money on wealth that you save. You know, I'm never seen nowhere in Christianity or Judaism where they pay wealth on money like gold and silver, which was money. Okay. Or anything that was used to barter, like rice and peas, and used to barter, or dates, you pay zakat on all of these things. You don't only pay zakat on money, you pay zakat on animals, and you pay zakat on other things. You don't pay zakat on tomatoes because they spoil. They have a short shelf life. Okay. You pay zakat on olive oil. You know, so the people that went before us. Let's say every nation, he gave them their own minhaj, their own methodology of doing things. Okay? So that is why when we come to Islam, we are not about throwing away the baby with the bathwater. we come to Islam, the culture that we had before, we want to improve it and bring it in line with Islam. That's what we want to do. You know? But some Muslims feel that when they become a Muslim, they mash up everything that you had, whether they're good or bad, and replace it with Arab behavior. Right? Forgetting that each nation had guidance. There's a lot of good things in what your parents told you. I mean, friends just take you and don't bring you back. Right? There's the habit of the old people, right? Does that go against Islam? No. So if I say it, and I'm going to say, why are you quoting them kufa thing? You know, we are so much foolish people. Sorry to say. You know? Whatever good in life among us as a people is Islam. Whatever good it is. Okay, whatever good. Because we asked Allah after what? Give us the good of this world. There's good in this world. Okay? The whole world.
So the child's soul remains connected to the parents. That it has a connection.
I don't know in that sense, but I know that that Allah said that when you entered Jannah, you and your family members, you know. So some people will experience that with the whole family and themselves enter Islam. Okay? You serve the child that died before they were Muslims. Right? I thought you was going to ask me if the non-Muslim children has that blessing to do that for their parents too.
This is what I mean. The child born by the parent. Well, okay, let me personalize it.
No, guys, that you're talking about somebody.
No, I'm talking. Okay, I'm talking about it. I'm referring to me and my experience then, right? Mm-hmm. My daughter died at 2 years old, right? And I was not yet a Muslim, right? So this is why I'm asking now.
Yeah, she will be able to intercede for you.
MashaAllah.
But she's Muslim. Because every child, every person born, whether born from a Hindu family, a Christian family, every child is born a Muslim. Meaning, when we say Muslim, I was trying to explain, I mean like in submission to Allah. That's what I mean. And I don't mean like following the Sharia of Muhammad. Okay? Talking about Muslim in general. Like when we say the son is a Muslim, the son don't pray 5 times a day. What we mean by that is that it submits to Allah. So the child is born in that pure state. And Allah says it's the society where the parents not Allah, sorry. The Prophet said that the parents makes them. You know, the society. Let me say this: the parents and the society. But the parents is not immune from the society. Makes them into a Christian or a Jew. Let me say, let me expand that. Make them into a Hindu, a Christian, a Jew, or wherever out there. Make them worship idols, wherever. Right? So if the child is born in that pure state and the child dies, right? It cannot be judged as a Christian, or a Hindu, or a Jew, or any other thing else. It will be judged as someone who's born in the natural way of life, which is Islam. Right? If he happens to have Muslim parents that he didn't know about, or she didn't know about at the time of their death, then they will be able to make intercession for that Muslim or Christian parent. Right? However, you cannot make intercession for Christian parents because they have already choose their way of life, right? And they are judged according as Christians. Now, Allah says that the Christians, the Sabians, and the Jews, all who believe in Allah on the last day, okay, will enter paradise. Okay, So not all Christians will go to hell. I'll tell you those Christians who will go to paradise. I'll tell you what Christians. Islam is the only way of life. Islam is the only way of life on this planet that tells you, even somebody who is not formally a Muslim, okay, they have the ability to enter Jannah. Right? And I'll tell you, the Sabians, Christians, the Jews, whosoever believe in Allah on the last day. Right? Because that is the basic message of all way of life, all religion. Okay, so we'll discuss this more, inshallah. It's a long topic. And some of the philosophers have all kind of different things to say. It's just enough confusing. Because basically, the Prophet said that everyone that is born a Muslim, and the parents bring them into other way of life. So if that person dies, then the person dies as a Muslim. He or she cannot be judged, because the age for being judged is when you are at puberty. So even if the child dies, let me say, before puberty, it's possible the child could intercede for you also. Because when Allah takes into account the child, okay, before puberty. After puberty, then Allah pay attention to you. Okay? So that is our understanding. As best I get from the Quran and get from the statements and the life of the Prophet Muhammad says. Okay, so any other questions?
No, I was just saying shukran.
Yeah. So next class, inshallah, we'll continue on verse 2, where Allah speaks about now why this surah is called the exile, or Surah Banu. Why it's called the exile or Nadir, about the Jewish tribe that was exiled from Medina. What happened? Why they were exiled? And this is an issue that is still argued even up to this day by the Jews. They still argue about it, and we argue with them about it. So this surah is still relevant even up to today. With the conflict, especially the conflict between Jews and Muslims that we find today. This, inshallah, is relevant to the times. This is relevant to the time that we live in. To understand some of the problems that the two communities face with each other. Inshallah. So, next class, okay? So, subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. And those who miss the class, there's a recorded version that the brother Shahi puts out. So all is not lost. Okay? Next class. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.